The information provided on this podcast is for general informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard on this podcast. Reliance on any information provided here is solely at your own risk. Welcome to the Birth Baby Podcast. Each week, you'll find guidance, encouragement, and practical tools to support you through pregnancy, birth, and the postpartum journey. I'm your host, Ciarra Morgan, a certified birth and postpartum doula, hypnobirthing educator, and pediatric sleep consultant. I'm also the owner of a doula agency in Austin, Texas, and the founder of the Birth Baby Academy, where I offer classes for both parents and birth professionals. Thanks for being here. Hello, everyone. Today I have a special guest with me, Cynthia Tinajero. She created the Mamistad New Moms Network in 2005 to help first-time pregnant women share the exciting yet sometimes daunting journey of becoming a new mom. She found herself in the first trimester of her only pregnancy, struggling with depression for the first time in her life and really struggling with that whole process and also having some family situations. And she needed friends. So she formed her own first-time pregnant mom group. And the rest is history. Now she is creating these groups all over in multiple different cities, actually, and helping moms be able to find that a little bit of community throughout their pregnancy process. And then hopefully, friendships that last forever. So thank you so much for being here today, Cynthia.
Thank you for having me, Ciarra. I'm so excited. This is so fun.
Yeah, I really love that you took a need that you had and turned it into something that would benefit other people. So a lot of us have a need and we just search for someone else to kind of fix it and fill that for us. And you're like, I'm going to take it into my own hands. If it doesn't exist, I'll make it, which I can resonate with a little bit. I have a little bit of that in me as well. So why do you think that community and connection are so critical for new moms in that pregnancy and postpartum period?
Bottom line is because when you are having your first baby, everything is new, right? And it's new. I always say that having a new baby is like there are 10 units of newness that are going to hit you, right? And you can either have them all hit you in the face when your baby gets here, or we can trickle those little units in through your pregnancy, and so that you can start grasping certain concepts and ideas beforehand. And the best way to grasp those things, to go through that journey, is to do it with other people who get you. Because if you're doing this all by yourself, really quickly, you can start to feel overwhelmed. What is happening? I'm not ready for this. Maybe I'm not the person to do this. Or even if you are excited and ready to do it, it can be really overwhelming, the newness of it. And with each I've been doing this for 20 years. And with each passing year, it seems like the outside forces get a little bit stronger. And you've got to know more. You have to study more. You have to have your baby in all these classes.
It's pressure.
In utero. Yeah, it's just crazy. And it's wait, no, having a baby takes you back to square one of being a human being. And I think if we can give that a little space and create a space with other women we feel like we're sharing it together and supporting each other, it can go from being hugely daunting to being like, oh my gosh, this is actually fun and exciting.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm really aiming for. And like you, it came out of a serious passion because of my own, just feeling really nervous and scared. Depression during pregnancy was huge for me. And that was the impetus for everything. I thought, if I can go through and help other moms not feel what I feel, I will do it. It's worth it. And that was the drive that started everything.
A lot of people think about perinatal health disorders as being a postpartum mood disorder or postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression. And I really try to teach people in my classes that I do too, that this can start rearing its head in pregnancy, and it can happen to partners, not just the pregnant person. And so that is really important to start feeling like you have that sense of community, because therapy is great and, seeing professionals is great as well. But sometimes having that camaraderie for other people that are experiencing a same thing at the same time can be so great. There's actually something called centering groups here at some of the midwifery clinics or the birthing centers. And that's another way for you're having your appointments all together. Just that sense of unity and community is so important. So what are some of the common struggles that you see moms facing when they don't have that support system? Like when they're looking and they find your groups, what was it that you find they were missing?
First of all, I think bottom line is we cannot underestimate so many different things that are impacting us when we're having a baby. And when you get pregnant, the hormones are taking over. So a lot of us are we plan to get pregnant thinking that we're going to do it as our normal, I say normal, as our unpregnant selves, without realizing that, wait, the pregnant me might have other physiological things going on. The hormones might have a different effect on me. A lot of us come to the pregnancy table with a variety of situations going on. Some of us are anxious people. Some of us have diagnosed anxiety, maybe already have diagnosed depression. These factors are coming in that we don't necessarily account for. And then when we get pregnant, we're like, whoa, I didn't realize, maybe the extra, whatever the hormone might be is kind of affecting me in a different way. So we kind of start to get on, maybe feel a little bit on shaky ground. Again, like I said, there are others who are just overjoyed and happy. But I think the struggles that we encounter that we didn't realize is just, we start to kind of see, well, this is really happening. And we start to try to factor in how are we going to do this in our regular lives. And we start, some of us can start to worry about losing our own identity. Like, wait a minute, I'm not going to be able to do XYZ anymore. And all these things can sort of start to really pile up on us. Like I said, those things that start hitting us a little bit slowly but surely. And so when you have other moms with you to talk about things, even just in my conversations with you, Ciarra, about doing business and working with women, we start to be like, oh my gosh, me too. Or aren't you frustrated when you can't help women understand how much is available for them? Or yeah. And it's like,
that
you
camaraderie.
get it. It makes me feel like, okay, I'm on the right track. I can do this, right? And it's so true for pregnant women. When you have another mom telling you, I'm nervous, or I remember my pregnancy group having the moms just having somebody else say, oh my gosh, you guys, I feel like I have a headache every other day and it makes me nervous. Is there something wrong with me? And then there's a mom in your group that says, I talked to my OB about that and she recommended this, or said, you know what, really think about your water intake, or whatever it is. We're comparing notes and it starts to chip away at what can otherwise be this like monster that starts to take over, and we ruminate on things and scare ourselves, and it really can take a toll on your psyche. So I say spread that out, share it with these other moms who are like-minded in that they want to have a successful, happy, healthy pregnancy.
Yeah, that validation and just feeling like you're not alone, I think is so huge.
It's everything.
So can you tell me a little bit more about the group that you started and what it is, like how it works? Is it only for first-time moms, or could somebody come after having a 7-year age gap or something and they feel brand new? Because that was me.
Well, that has happened, by the way. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. But so, yeah, I started initially because I started Mamistad when I was pregnant. I basically needed my own group. I said, I need friends. I was new to the area, as is the profile for a lot of moms in the cities we're in. We are in DC, the Virginia area, Arlington area, also Denver and Austin. And so these are cities that tend to be kind of transient. People come here. Everybody is it seems like the profile of the Mamistad mom is, my family is far away, or even if they're here, all my friends have already had kids or they haven't had kids yet. I'm feeling kind of like alone in this arena. And some people do have their families around. It's not saying that they don't, but there's this need. Women are drawn to Mamistad because they want their tribe, as I call it. Yeah. They want to. And I think what happens, what was your question? I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's what it is. So how does it work? Like, how does somebody get set up with it?
So,
are there multiple groups in one town? Is it everybody?
Right. So I remember what I was trying to tell you now, because I kind of got off on a tangent, but there was a reason, believe it or not. I mean, there's a method to my madness, is that I started the groups because I knew what it was like to want to have people to relate to. So I said, I'm going to help other first-time pregnant women find other women to talk to and share this with. But as I started the group, so I started as Mamistad. It was just supposed to be a hobby while I was pregnant and before I decided I'm going to go back to the office, so to speak. And so it was just like a hobby, like I said. Moms were joining, but I kept getting moms that already had their children. Like, well, I have a 3-month-old and I'm so alone. Can you help me find a group? I heard you connect groups. And I'm like, I'm not going to say no. So slowly it just morphed into first-time pregnant and new moms. And so then the new moms kept getting like, well, now I have a 1-year-old. And, so really the bulk of our groups are first-time pregnant or moms with a baby up to probably 6 months old. That's around the range that moms usually join. They can come along later. If they do, that's fine. I'll do my best to add you to a group, but it will likely be a group that has already been together since they were pregnant. I have, like the scenario you mentioned, had moms who were like, I have a baby that is my first baby's now 12 and I'm pregnant again, and I feel like I'm starting over. So yes, they have definitely been welcomed into, find their group too, just feel like they're starting over and go through this pregnancy thing again.
Yeah, that's really cool. What makes this unique to some of the other like mom groups or online communities? What is it that sets Mamistad apart?
The
Mamistad
one
apart.
thing that I think is different is that I require that all moms who join us for what I call the new mommy Zoom call. It's a new mommy info session, kind of like, and we talk about the moms. Each mom introduces herself. She shares about herself. And I tell them what the gist of this group is, what we're about. Mamistad was created to help you not feel alone. So I'm trying to create, or I am creating, these tribes of women who are due within 3 to 4 months of each other, who live in the same general area, and so that they can share the journeys, the ups and downs that they're going through. Either it's, the testing for the diabetes testing, or now we have our babies, they're going through solids, or we're doing nursing or whatever. They're going to go through all these stages together. And that's hugely important, again, so that you can kind of validate each other.
Yeah.
But I think what makes us different, like I said, is the messaging that, look, you are here because you want to be supported, but you want to support too. And the number one thing I ask them to do is leave their mommy judgment at the door. I know it's so hard to do. I don't have to tell you, we have a lifetime of it coming our way anyway, because if you are a mom, if you
Call
have
it mommy wars. I hate it so much.
Yes, whether it's a 1-year-old or a 20-year-old, people are going to have thoughts on how you're mothering. That's just the way it is. Why is she choosing that stroller? Why did she do that? Why are what attachment parenting? There's something to criticize about everything, right? But I ask them, guys, let it go. None of us are trying to screw up our baby just to piss you off.
And this isn't a competition.
No, it's not. Everybody has done the work that they can do based on who they are to arrive at how they plan to do things. So I think leaving your judgment behind is just the best way to come to the table with an open mind. And you're going to enjoy your motherhood a lot more. I'm not saying to be self-deprecating, but the more you can laugh at the mistakes you make and realize, okay, this was wrong, let's try something else, then your experience is going to be a lot better. You've got to be like water. I always say that. Be like water.
We have to we have to be flexible because these babies throw us for loops. I always say that when you get pregnant and you're pregnant and going through your birth journey, that is your first lesson on I really have to work on my flexibility here because I don't really get to make the choices here. I can do my best to do everything around it the best that I can. But at the end of the day, sometimes things are going to fly off the handle. It's not going to go the way that I planned. And I just have to make space for that. So I really think that you hit it all on the head. It normalizes those challenges that people have, whether it's during pregnancy and struggling with headaches, like you mentioned, whether it's feeding issues afterwards, sleep deprivation, getting used to the normalcy of what these things are so that you don't think that your baby's broken and you don't think that you're doing everything wrong. So what do you think that something, not every place has this group and there are many other groups. What is something that people should look for when choosing a support group or a community? What do you think is the most important factor?
I think, first of all, is I tell the moms that join Mamistad, join all the groups that you can find, and then filter, find that if it's one other person you connect with or 2 others, it's important. I want Mamistad actually to be in every city. So wherever you are, if you want to join Mamistad, feel free to join us. And if we get more people in your city, we will start building those groups and we're going to make more of an effort to expand as well. But everybody's welcome just to be there and be in that space with us. But if you are trying to find moms to connect with, we're not exactly in a place to be turning people down, right? There are not a lot of resources for this. I know that. And that's the hard part. So I say, find as many moms as you can and see, you just have to kind of figure it out. If there's a connection, stick with this mom, keep hanging out with her. I tell the moms when I form the groups, because if you think about it, you're thrown together with up to 8, 10 other women. And that number is that high simply because, as we all know, if there's a group of 10 friends, not all 10 are going to be able to make it to whatever the event is, right? So if there are 8 of us and I put it out there, hey guys, anybody free for lunch on Thursday? And 2 of us can go, 2 of us should go. We should connect, we should meet, we should start forging that relationship, because this is not singles of DC. This is we're having a baby. And you want to build that arsenal of mom friends as quickly, as much as you can, not quickly, but as Be smart about your choices, but you want there to be a varied arsenal because, like I just said earlier, you never know what you're going to get from who and whose style is going to benefit you and how you can help somebody. So that's one major point I want to make sure I make. I told you that I was dealing with depression during my pregnancy. One of the best things I got out of my group was being able to talk to other women. That took me out of my own space because I always say when we're pregnant or new moms, we can create a bubble around ourselves. And that bubble is just, it's isolation. That's public enemy number one. When you are pregnant or a new mom, you isolate yourself, you ruminate on your fears, your thoughts, your anxieties. Then, your baby's born 3 months later, you come up for air and you're like, oh my gosh, the world has gone on without me. And I am here I did all the things I said I was going to do, checked all the boxes, but this isn't fun.
It doesn't feel good. Right. So get yourself out there. Instead, you've got all these other moms that you can call on and talk to in situations. And you woke up at 3 and put the diaper on inside out or whatever, you start sharing those things and chip away at them instead of being so tightly wound, as a lot of us are, understandably, because we're now responsible for another life. Instead of being tightly wound, being able to just share that, loosen up a little bit, and just like, well, this is actually kind of fun. And, as your baby gets a little older, you realize they're not the Fabergé egg you thought they were. You have to breathe a little. I got this. And it's really, it's so fun to have little babies hanging out. And they do benefit from socializing. Yes, they do. You're not only benefiting from this as the parent, then the babies are benefiting from it as well. So if somebody wanted, like you mentioned, like to start one in their area or to get involved in the city that it already exists in, and of course, I'll include this in the show notes, but how can they learn more about you or how can they connect with you?
They can come to mamistad.com. That's the best place. I also have podcasts, just like you. My podcast is called Mom Chat with Mamistad, which, as we've discussed, we are sharing so much information out there. I am blessed to have talked to so many experts, doulas, midwives, lactation consultants. I just did a podcast with a dad. His name is Adam Angel. He is the founder of Dads with Wisdom. So he talks to us about dads becoming dads. There's so much great info that's free out there. So if you come to mamistad.com, you will see the Mom Chat page. You'll see everything. But you can come in and submit your profile regardless of where you live, though I do form groups in Austin. Submit your profile, and then I just start grouping people, start finding out, hey, you know what? There are 5 of you in Pflugerville, or wherever you are. But one thing I want to make sure I mention is that once the groups get going, I always say, don't miss the miracles. Our motto used to be, don't miss the miracle of birth, right? But now it's don't miss the many miracles, which include the birth of a mom and the birth of a dad and a family, the birth of a community. So when your husband or partner, or even, I always say, we've got single moms, we've got all types of situations. Whoever that partner or other support person is, even if it's your mom or your sister or your best friend that's your support person, bring them into the group because they'll start connecting with you and hanging out, and you're building a community, which is so rare these days. Anymore. We don't do that. And imagine being a child growing up with like 8 other moms and their partners, friends, best friend, whoever it is that is their support system. I always just really quick, allow me this one example because I love it so much. There are a couple of groups now where there was a single mom in the group who brought her mom along as her support person into the community. That mom has become sort of the grandmother of the group because
sweet.
All these moms don't have their families around. So the little ones are growing up with a grandmother figure, and she just loves to come to the get-togethers, and they're like, yeah, and they all know her name. And it's just an amazing gift that we can give our kids when they are so deprived of a lot of things societally these days, just in life. So it's important. You never know where those miracles are going to come from. And that's, oh gosh, it's so fun. I love it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story and why you created these groups. And hopefully we've inspired some people wherever they are to go out and just look for that community and not to allow themselves to be isolated at home anymore. So I will put your information in the show notes, but thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Ciarra. Everybody, take care of yourselves.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to follow, rate, and review the podcast. It helps us reach more families who can benefit from this resource. For more resources, classes, and services, head to empoweredbeginningsatx.com or check out the Birth Baby Academy at birthbabyacademy.com. Until next time, wishing you confidence and calm on your journey through birth and beyond.